Massachusetts National Guard for landing the Black Hawk. I'm sure you all saw it, pretty incredible. Absolutely. I don't know about you, but it was much more massive than I thought it was going to be, so that was pretty incredible to see. And thank you to Mike Cunningham and his staff here at Holiday Hill. They have been incredible to work with, so welcoming, so understanding, and really making today go very smoothly. So thank you for all of your hard work and behind the scenes efforts. I have two more special thank yous. One is to Sergeant Spect. He is our escort for today. We really appreciate you being here with us. And I just want to acknowledge our Connecticut Fallen Heroes quilters. You'll see the beautiful work that they create every year later on in our program, but I just wanted to make sure that they have a little acknowledgement and give you something to keep your eyes open to a little bit later. Thank you so much to our 102nd National Army Band. You guys are wonderful. So we have a special guest, the mayor of Prospect. I'd love to welcome him to the stage to say a few words. Robert J. Chatfield. Please give him a round of applause.
Brothers, sister veterans, and families of the fallen heroes and all the veterans looking down upon us, I'm usually known for being very short. Welcome to Prospect.
National Guard Color Guard, who is here with us today to help get our ceremony started and post our colors. Please welcome Jillian Duffy, Miss Trumbull, to honor our country with the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Go! Post! Forward, halt! Lay up, pace! Forward, halt!
Everybody, I want to apologize for my child for not being able to be here tonight or today. So I will be part of the activities here. Let us pray. Oh God, we gather here today to honor the ones who gave the ultimate sacrifice, even from the earliest roots as a country. Battles and blood have been the currencies that paid the precious freedom we never lived. To worship, to speak, as we see fit. Our parents, siblings, friends, sons and daughters have all given their lives, and we will never truly forget their selfless sacrifice. Bless each and every one who has come here today to honor the heroes. We will always remember in our hearts and our prayers. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Sergeant Searock, for being with us. And now, even though Chris Murphy is not able to be with us here today, he sent a representative, Claude Campbell, from his office to share a few words.
Good afternoon, veterans, family members, and friends. My name is Claude Campbell, and I'm with Senator Murphy. And unfortunately, Senator Murphy sent his regret that he came here today, so he asked me to read this to family members, friends, and family. Put my shoes. I wish I could join the veterans, families, and advocates gathered today to help honor the memories of our best and bravest at the 13th Annual Connecticut Fallen Heroes Memorial Tribute, hosted by Connecticut Fallen Heroes Foundation, Inc. This day helps keep the memory alive of those we have lost, those who sacrificed everything for the liberties all Americans hold dear. Today we celebrate the lives of Lance Corporal Lester R. Atherton, PFC Level T. Karen, Specialist Robert W. Hoyt, PFC William A. Mastroianni, and Specialist Robert Tilquist. Each of these brave veterans served with honor and distinction, giving their lives in defense of freedom. Their heroism in Vietnam, Korea, and Iraq will never be forgotten. And today we are reminded of the courage that defined their lives. These veterans and all veterans give everything not only to their country, but also to their families, their fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters. Their loved ones carry their legacies forward through events like today's tribute. As do so many families who have lost loved ones in service. The sudden and tragic loss of a member of our armed services leaves an enormous hole in the lives of everyone they knew and loved. But we know that through memorials like this, the strength strength, and selflessness of our fallen heroes will continue to inspire Americans for years to come. While it is not sufficient, let me simply say the one thing we should all say to our veterans and their families each day: thank you. To those we have lost, we honor your memory and carry your name. To those who have served or are currently serving, we honor your valor. And to the families of our best and bravest, we thank you for your sacrifice. Best wishes to all are participating in today's tribute, and I look forward to working hand in hand with you for years to come. Sincerely, Christopher S. Murphy, United States Senator. Thank you.
I now would like to invite to the stage Tom Stevens, who's a dedicated Connecticut Fallen Heroes volunteer, to just share a few words with us.
Thank you, Marla. And Tom Stevens. I'm a volunteer for Connecticut Fallen Heroes. Hi, my name is Tom Stevens. I'm a volunteer for Connecticut Fallen Heroes. I'm really humbled to be up here and have an opportunity to speak, and I promise that I'll keep it brief. This group is a small group run by a few really dedicated people. I'm proud to be part of it, and I love serving with them. Prohibited from mentioning the name of our sort of fearless leader here. He gave me the opportunity to speak without even asking what I was going to say, so I don't know what that says about him. But I'm really grateful. And I think sometimes people don't recognize how really small that we are. So if you get a chance to stick some money in the box on the way out of here tonight, that would be awesome. We all goes right back into doing this thing that we do. The thing that I wanted to share, this is my opinion. I think some people share it with me, but I'm not even necessarily speaking for the group. Our country is great because of the number of different viewpoints that we're permitted to express. And I think that it's great to express them, but when we're honoring our flag, we're honoring our country, I think we can stop and simply honor the flag and the country and then express those viewpoints at any other time. It is great that we have the freedom to do that. That's what I wanted to say. Let me say one more thing. When I was really, really nervous, and I still am, and I asked my wife this morning what she thought my chances are of thoroughly embarrassing myself. She said 60%. I still love her.
I would say you didn't embarrass yourself at all there, Tom. So now we're really going to get into the honoring portion of our program. Someone took my...
Oh, that was me.
Now you embarrass yourself. So now we're going to take a few minutes in remembering Chief Warrant Officer 5, Philip Reeves. So I'd like to ask Jim McMahon to come to the stage and help with this honoring and presentation.
My name is Jim McMahon. I will be wrong. I don't know, I usually don't do too well with these microphones. I grew up in a very, very large Irish family, and we were all long-winded, and when it came time to speak, we just out-louded the person who was talking at that time. By the end of the night, we were screaming at each other, and neighbors thought it was an all-out fight every night, but it was just a poor learning experience in communication. Today we recognize CW5 Philip Reeves, a beloved man who lost his battle to cancer this February at age 57 years old. CW5 Reeves was one of Connecticut's finest, and I'm extremely honored to present him to all of you here today. Phil was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1959, and he moved to Wilton, Connecticut in 1962, and he was a Connecticut resident for his entire life. I'd like to welcome his wife, Robin, Robin's parents, Dave and Jan Hapke, his children, family, friends, the many firefighters that he shared his life with in Bridgeport, the Massachusetts National Guard, and one of his close and dear friends, Ralph Nathanson. Today is a memorial, a tribute, and a celebration presented by Connecticut Fallen Heroes Foundation. It's a great organization, and it was founded by Mike Mastroni. And some of the greatest achievements that we have in our world since the beginning of time come from the most humblest of people. And Mike, I do mention your name because we're honoring our military, the men and women who sacrificed so much, and Mike is the founder and the creator of the Connecticut Fallen Heroes Foundation. And we're all part of his minions that help him make things work. But he's our general. And Mike, without you, we would not be here today. And each and every year this grows more. And we're able to bring more recognition and shed more light on so many of the great military people that we have. Thanks, Michael. As I said, today's a memorial, it's a tribute, it's a celebration, but also part of what Connecticut Fallen Heroes Foundation does, we're educators. And what we try to do is educate the general population. There's a disconnect between the military and the citizenship of our country. And the disconnect is really in the terms that we all know what our military does, who they are, they protect, they serve, but we really don't know the specifics of how they operate and what they do and what they are. So today in the education process, I'm going to try to bridge that gap of disconnection as we honor CW5 Reeves. And that education we're going to have today is what a warrant officer is, because until I started, I've been involved for a number of years, but I learned each day about the military itself. I didn't know what a warrant officer was, and I certainly didn't know what a warrant officer does, and I had no idea what a CW5 was or is. Warrant officers are technical and tactical experts of the Army. At the base level rank, warrant officers primarily support operations from team or detachment through battalion. Warrant officers are appointed by the Secretary of the Army. There are 5 levels of warrant, demanding technical, educational, and leadership training, along with proven experience, is necessary for appointment to the highest levels of warrant office. Phil Reeves was appointed and obtained the highest level of Chief Warrant Officer 5, and he was known as a CW5. CW5s, perhaps the rarest rank in the entire United States Army. The rank and title of Chief Warrant Officer 5 is given to those soldiers displaying unsurpassed mastery of technical and tactical aspects of their chosen branch of military service. So each warrant officer has a specialty. And as we're going to find out more about CW5 Reeves, his specialty was helicopters and aerial support. The Chief Warrant Officer 5 is a master-level technical and tactical expert. In addition, CW5 showed very strong leadership skills, as well as an understanding of both combined and joint operations in tandem with a demonstrated understanding of and willingness to attempt innovation. These guys create ideas, they bring them to the highest levels of the military, and hopefully some of these great ideas they pick up from the bottom level through experience and working with the individuals in our military. The hierarchy will implement them to make our military stronger and better. CW5s are recognized as the most capable of leaders in the Warrant Officer Corps and the undisputed most knowledgeable tactical and technical experts in their chosen craft and the units in which they serve. Soldiers holding the rank of CW5 serve at the unit levels from brigade up to forces command. The duties and the responsibilities that CW5s discharge include serving as technical experts and leaders, systems managers, sustainment providers, and experts, system and unit interrogators, advisors, and maintainers. In addition to being charged with ensuring that all these duties and responsibilities are executed, CW5s are also tasked with advising senior leaders in the Army. More specifically, they are looked to for insight on how the Army could better function both internally and as a member of the whole military power of the United States. Although very rarely recognized publicly or lauded for their contributions, CW5s are invaluable to the functioning of the Army in the present, but also helps adapt to the changing world and the future of our military. So the warrant officers, in particular, climbing the ranks to CW2, 3, 4, and 5, is a tremendous asset to our military and one of the hardest and most distinguished positions to get within the Army and the military. So it's a great honor to be able to represent and present the memory of CW5 Reeves. Who was Phil Reeves? In a nutshell, Phil Reeves was a giver who made the lives he touched better and, more importantly, safer. You know, the days of Beetle Bailey and McHale's Naked, I know I'm dating myself, and Gomer Pyle, you know, those days really don't exist anymore. Our military, from the ground level troops right on up, it's a highly technical profession. And these soldiers in the military brass right up through the ranks have to be technologically advanced with a tremendous amount of knowledge and acumen that our men and women need and have out there. Think of our military as a computer, and CW5 Reeves as the intel chip inside that powers that computer with technical know-how and hands-on and true leadership. Phil Reeves joined the Army in February of 1989 as an aviation warrant officer and Army aviator. Ultimately, he would attain the highest warrant officer rank recognized by the United States Army, Chief Warrant Officer 5. He would also achieve the status of Master Aviator, the highest level of aviation competence recognized by the United States Army. A standout officer and aviator, CW5 Reeves was the epitome of the Army motto, above the best. After more than 3 years on active duty, CW5 Reeves joined the Massachusetts Army National Guard in 1992. I'm sure there's a number of people here that are wondering why he joined the Massachusetts National Guard as opposed to the Connecticut National Guard. And the reason being is because that wonderful piece of machinery that you see out there, that Black Hawk helicopter that's produced by the men and women of Sikorsky here in Connecticut, was who he was and what he was about, and he brought his expertise to where that equipment was and is located, which is in Massachusetts, which not only benefits Massachusetts, but every one of the National Guards in the United States of America. So even though he's Connecticut's own, He belonged over there at Massachusetts National Guard, which belongs to the entire United States of America. So he was quite a man. Over his career, he was qualified in UH-1 Huey, AH-1 Cobra, and 3 variants of the H-60 Black Hawk helicopters. He was also qualified to serve as one of the first HH-60M instructor pilots in the entire Army National Guard, responsible for training and evaluating pilots and crew members with his great wealth of knowledge. Throughout his aviation career, Phil Reeves amassed over 2,444 accident-free hours in the cockpit. I've tripped 3 or 4 times this week walking into the bathroom. So 2,444 accident-free flight hours is absolutely incredibly remarkable. Although CW5 Reeves' pilot skills were extraordinary, he thrived in the aviation safety realm. Serving at many levels as aviation safety officer, he achieved the noteworthy status of State Aviation Safety Officer for the Massachusetts Army National Guard. CW5 Reeves was recognized as always being on the leading edge of safety techniques and trends while developing safety programs and policies that ultimately protected our soldiers and saved many of our soldiers' lives. A tremendous compliment, a tremendous man. CW5 Reeves was a lifelong learner who led his fellow officers by example, completing 4 aircraft qualification courses, helicopter instructor pilot courses, aviation safety courses, warrant officer senior staff course, power management mountain qualification course, and the deck landing qualification course, just to name a few. He also took a personal initiative and set the example for his subordinates in 2015 by completing a master's degree in Homeland Security. Here's what really differentiates this individual from many great CW5 warrant officers. He was a grunt. He was there in the fire. He not only was a tremendously educated man in person that helped save military lives through his training and education, but he actually served in 2 tours of duty for 21 months in the Iraqi war, and he was there right in the front. So not only did he teach people, but he was a brave, courageous man that went into battle himself with the troops that he taught. A combat veteran with 2 overseas combat tours in Iraq as an aeromedical evacuation, which is a medevac pilot, better known as a dust-off pilot. CW5 Reeves received 2 air medals for his actions during 2 periods covering 21 months of active duty in Iraq. During his 2005 Operation Iraqi Freedom deployment, he served in combat with the distinguished 101 1st Airborne, the Screaming Eagles, saving many lives as he medevaced people to safety into our hospitals that treated our men and our women. A highly decorated officer, CW Reeves received the highest recognitions, including the Legion of Merit. This medal is one of 2 medals that you wear around your neck, the other being the Medal of Honor. So he received one of the highest honors that our government can award. He received the Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, and Master Army Aviation Service Badge, recognizing achievements earned during a career spanning over 28 years. As an Army officer, CW Phil Reeves was the epitome of a lifelong learner and an intellectual teacher. He was remembered by his military brothers in arms as a leader who was willing to speak his mind, to teach, to share his knowledge, by channeling his passion as an aviator and an officer and a leader, and most importantly, a friend. As a proud veteran, Phil was a life member of the VFW, the United States Army Officer Association, the National Guard Association of the United States, and the Army Aviation Association of America. Phil was also a proud member of the Bridgeport Firefighters Local 834, where he is a volunteer fireman since 1980. This is part of what the Connecticut Fallen Heroes Foundation that Mike Mastroianni created does. We try to educate you as well as memorializing and paying tribute to those that lost their life and to those that served, but to let us all learn, and I think we learn a little bit more what a warrant officer is, in particular a CW5. At this time, I would like to call CW5 Reeves' wife, Robin, his soulmate, and she will be escorted. I would also like your mom and dad, if they're here. I'd also like Ralph. Ralph, where are you at? Would you please take the honor up here and be escorted to the podium? And they have two children, Isaac and Rebecca. Unfortunately, they can't be here. They're both college students, and they have something that is with them today. Vice President of Sikorsky's USG Defense Systems and Service, Dave Zach, if you would approach the podium and you would present that wonderful award and say a few words, we would appreciate it.
Thank you so much for honoring my husband. As you can tell, he was a busy guy. He also did have time, though, for his family and his children. And so we live his legacy now and take his lessons that he taught us to teach others. So thank you for honoring me.
Thank you so much. What a way to start our remembrance ceremony. We are now going to head into the Gold Star ceremony honoring our first fallen hero. Lance Corporal Lester R. Atherton, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam. He will be honored by former First Selectman of Trumbull and Vietnam Marine Ray Baldwin. Ray.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would also like to add my thanks to Mike Mastroni and the Fallen Heroes Committee for the great work they've done over the years. They originally had this ceremony in the town of Trumbull when I was first elected. It was such a proud moment for us, and in fact, I got to present one of the first awards to one of my very best friends growing up, who was killed the day before I left to go over to Vietnam, Sergeant Robert Lester, who you'll see in the program. So it's a very compelling ceremony, and I want to thank everybody on the committee involved for what you do. It's really special. Also joining us today is Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, Sean Connolly. I know he came in a little bit late. Sean, are you here? Can you raise your hand? There, right in front. So our Commissioner of Veterans Affairs. So I'm here today to honor Lance Corporal Lester Robert Atherton. I never met Robert. He grew up in the adjoining town in Milford. He was born in Milford on September 6, 1944, to Lester Robert Atherton Jr., a World War II U.S. Army Corps veteran, and Claire Atherton, who during World War II worked on Corsair airplanes at Voight Sikorsky. Lester went to Central Grammar School in Milford, Connecticut. In 1955, his family moved to Bridgeport, where he was a Boy Scout and a newspaper boy. He went to Lincoln School and Harding High School and graduated in 1962. He then worked for the Bridgeport Post in the warehouse and delivery trucks. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on November 1st, 1962. He was in platoon 275 at Parris Island, South Carolina, and graduated January 22nd, 1963. He then went to Camp Geiger, North Carolina, and then on to Camp Pendleton and Okinawa. He was transferred in 1965 to Gulf Company, 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines. He arrived in Vietnam on July 8, 1965, and he was an M60 machine gunner. He was in several U.S. Marine operations, including Harvest Moon, Double Eagle 1, Double Eagle 2, Operation Utah, where he was killed in action on March 4, 1966, at the age of 21. Lester loved God, country, and the United States Marine Corps. He was awarded the Combat Action Ribbon, the Purple Heart, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Republic Vietnam Cross of Gallantry with Palm, the Vietnam Civil Actions Unit Citation, the Marine Corps Presidential Unit Citation, the National Defense Ribbon, and a Good Conduct Medal. Lester's burial was in St. Michael's Cemetery in Stratford, Connecticut, with full military honors. Lester's name is on the Vietnam Wall of Washington, D.C., Panel 5E, row 100, and Connecticut Vietnam Memorial in Coventry, Connecticut. Lester's family wants to thank you for honoring him today, and indeed there's a proud history of Marine Corps service in that family. His two brothers, David and Mark, served in the United States Marine Corps, and his brother-in-law, Robert Cohen, also served in the United States Marine Corps, and they're here off to my right today. Would you please stand and be acknowledged?
I just want to thank the Fallen Heroes Foundation and all the people here that honor our fallen veterans and pay tribute to those who have lost their lives. Deeply grateful for each and every one of you. My brother loved the country, loved God, loved his family. And my mother just passed away last year. As I said, he used to work for Sikorsky Aircraft. Chance fought during World War II, and my father was in the Army Air Corps during World War II. My brother was a very kind-hearted person, loved other people, and we have a picture that somebody posted one time online, which I hold dear to my heart, and it's a picture of my brother with the Vietnamese children, and I was told he used to share his food with the Vietnamese children, and just what kind of a person he was.
Thank you all for honoring my brother today.
Thank you so much. we will be honoring Private First Class Lenwood T. Harrell, United States Army, Vietnam, and he is being honored by Vietnam Marine veteran Sam Beeman. Sam?
Thank you all so much. Giving honor to God, elected officials, faculty hiding in the back, thank you for everything that you do. We come here today for the ceremony to remember those that gave their lives for their country. It is my honor to speak on behalf of Lenwood Thomas Harrell. Lenwood was my brother by being a veteran. As sometimes in our life we raised our right hand and swore allegiance to this country. We went to boot camp, and after graduation we all became veterans, whether it's peacetime or in time of war. I am here to honor Lenwood. He was born June 28, 1947, and he lost his life May 5th, 1968 in South Vietnam. He was a member of the 1st Air Cavalry Division, and most people you don't know, that's one of the finest fighting divisions of the Army. I was flying as a crew chief with the Marines at the same time that Lenwood was ambushed. He was cut down by small arms fire. I grew up with Lenwood. He lived on Ward Street. He was almost next door to Norman Dawson. Norman Dawson lost his life 1 year prior to Lenwood losing his life. Lenwood was 20 years old. We grew up together. He was only here a short time. We did the crazy things that most kids did. We enjoyed dances, dating, house parties, and just having crazy fun. I joined the Marines right out of high school, while Lenwood joined the Army. He was only in Vietnam a short amount of time. Those of us that survived our tour of duty in Vietnam have the responsibility to our fellow veterans to never forget those that serve, especially those that made the ultimate sacrifice. We remember the past as we learn to forgive, but we will never forget. Most people will never know what a veteran has seen or experienced. As a veteran, I say this, we will always remember the sacrifices that those that went before us, those that are serving today to ensure our freedom. As a combat veteran, I say, today's veterans, I understand. You are not alone, and we are here there for you. Let the honor and glory be with the Gold Star mothers, fathers, and families, because their loss is our loss. They lost a loved one while we lost friends, classmates, relatives, and fellow Americans. The price that they paid will never be forgotten. The love and respect for our fellow comrades will always be honored by the veterans who survived and fought with them and those that remember them. The year of 1947, very special year, that's the year I was born. And Lenwood was 1 year older than me. And I didn't know that, but that's where he was, 1 year older than me. But Linwood was not able to go to work. Linwood never got married, never had any children, never became a grandfather, never experienced life ups and downs. He's been gone for 49 years. And I don't have to tell you about the aforementioned opportunities that he did not have. It was not meant to be. He will forever be young. United States Army, private first class. Linwood Thomas Dog, Harold. It's all coming together. They both live so close together, and they both are friends of mine. Thank you for your service. Your family and friends miss you and love you. Linwood received several medals: the National Defense Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Purple Heart. He also earned Combat Infantry Badge. And anyone you see from the Army and they have a flintlock rifle above the ribbons and is blue, that means that you were in combat. That means you were shot at and you survived. That's your Combat Infantry Badge. I have to say this one thing before I close. Around my neck, I wear a medal. It's for the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame. Back in 2005, then Governor Jody Rell established the Connecticut Veterans Hall of Fame. And each year, as many as 10 individuals are inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it's not for what you did while you were in the military, it's what you did after you left the military, where we constantly are giving back to those individuals that didn't come back. And we don't forget what happened. Right now, there's approximately 100 people in the Hall of Fame, and I'm proud to have been inducted in the class of 2011. So I've been there a little while. I have to say this. The reason I bring that up is most people don't know what this medal around my neck, what it is, and how we earned it. But I want everyone here to know. But I'm so happy to see so many faces out here that I haven't seen in a long time. But when we're down in Trumbull, or even when we're in Meriden, there's a lot of people that weren't there. But right now we're doing something for Linwood. And there's people out the audience, not only myself, but other people that grew up with him. And yes, we remember him with love and caring. And now I say, yes, we miss you. Yes, we love you. Rest in peace, my brother. Semper Fi. May God watch over and protect our troops. God bless each and every one of you. God bless the United States of America.
I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that are in this house today. I want to give honor to God. I want to thank Mike and all the Fallen Heroes committee members. I also want to thank God for letting this day be. And to each and every one of you who have served and continue to serve. I also would like to thank the person who nominated my brother. And I want to thank the Waterbury Veterans Memorial Committee. And I want to thank Sam Beeman for all your remarks. and for all my relatives and friends for being here today, and all the others that will be honored today, the other four. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and Sam, thank you for those beautiful words. We are now going to take some time to honor Specialist Robert W. Hoyt, U.S. Army, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he is being honored by Captain Patrick Montez.
First off, I want to say thank you to all of you for having me here. Thank you very much for keeping the memories alive. It is very important that we never forget. It's very important that we, those who survived, thank you. Because the way we see it, you guys made the real sacrifice. You're when we came back, we're here. But not a day goes by that I don't think about my friends. Throughout this month. The story I'm about to tell is very personal because I was there with him. I only knew him for 1 year. The news came down that they needed people, they needed X amount of soldiers. So we raised our hand, and the rest is one of the most amazing, painful, and just eye-opening experience that I've ever found in my life. But before I go there, I want to say to all of you, the All-Star families, that we feel for you. I am very honored to be in your presence. I can't thank you enough. And I know I speak for every other soldier who walks that we cannot ever repay the sacrifice that you made. So thank you. Going along with the words of Mr. Hardman, educating. Again, please continue this. Educate those under you. I've been in the military a while, and it's amazing within the last 10 years how much knowledge I've seen go out the door. I've seen many veterans leave very disgruntled, and I don't think that's right. For those of you that have taken the time to come back and to carry this, I want to thank you. And please continue reaching out to those other veterans like we do. They will come back to you. I promise you that. So, my current job now, I am the Casualty Assistance Officer for the state of Connecticut. I help families, the survivors of families, maneuver through the military paperwork and make sure that the benefits and all that stuff is it's right. They're getting what they're due. And many times, over and over, as I'm helping a family, I can't help but think about my friends that I've lost. And so it has become a personal mission of mine to make sure that I'm helping their families the same way that I hope they will help mine if that day ever came. I've known, as I said before, who was Rob? Well, called him many things in our platoon. We called him a turd, we called him a pigpen, we called him every name that we call each other because we loved him that much. We met the day that we were asked if we considered going to Iraq. We raised our hand, they put us in a room, and there's this dude, just wouldn't say a word. I don't think he said more than 5 words ever when we talked to him. We were told that we were going to go to Iraq. We were going to go on this mission to be help. And so we packed up our bags and they sent us down to Fort Hood, Texas. While down there, you know, I got to meet Rob a little bit better. He was one of my teammates. And it was very entertaining to see him. He was the youngest in our group. I was 25, he was 20 at the time, and it was just amazing how much we ragged on him for being so ignorant, what we considered ignorant. But there's something else that he had that made him the perfect infantryman. He was reckless, and we nicknamed him Killer Boy. Because that's what he was. He didn't say much, but when he did, he cut right through people. And we just looked at him and said, what are you talking about? He didn't know anything. In reality, he knew. He told us all exactly what we didn't want to hear. So, very slowly, through that, he became this solid piece of our team. And many nights, we managed to sneak him into some Texas bar through the back door, because he couldn't come in, he was 20. And we regret it most nights. Most of the time, he made us laugh. And it was amazing to see him grow as a man, as a soldier. And the few things that never wavered, and the few things that I saw in him, that I saw from day one to the last day I saw him, is that he was a patriot. He loved his country. He loved his fellow soldiers. And surprisingly, he learned to love the people that we worked around in Iraq. A couple stories I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start with this one. There's many things that you don't see on CNN as a soldier. As it was mentioned earlier, there are so many things that combat veterans see that don't get reported. And some of those things are amazing things. We used to receive care packages, tons of them, more than we could do anything with. So we used to throw them in the back of our trucks, in our backpacks, and go on patrols and hand them out to people. We saw a kid with no shoes. Here you go, t-shirt. I got a t-shirt. I got this, I got that, toothbrush, everything. You don't see that here. It happens. And we do it out of our own, on our own. There's no mission set in the Army for an infantryman that says go hand out goods. The only goods we hand out are the ones that come out of the modern rifle. But we did it. And one day, I heard Bob, he just looked at me and said, dude, why do these people hate each other so much? We're trying to help them, why are they killing each other? And him and I, this whole ethnic sectarian violence was new to us. And he just made me think. He said, I don't know, man, all I know is if you go home, I go home, we're good. It's all I care about. So the deployments went on, we started running into more and more of these cases. And it was always amazing that he would open his mouth to say something positive, even though we called him Killer Boy. He was such a positive soul. And during combat, I would take the time, I would pause. If I knew we were going into a bad area, and I would look behind to make sure he was there. With him behind me, I know I could do my job because he would take care of me. That's the bond, it's the brotherhood that we veterans share. It will never go away. I still run into my friends who are no longer in it. Irrelevant of rank or anything, just pop anywhere, have a beer. And see, I'm even tighter with them than with my own siblings. Just to give you an idea of the brotherhood that is built. The days in Iraq were long, the nights were even longer. They were hot, they were miserable, and having him next to me just made me feel better. He wouldn't say much, but I would just look, I would see him dipping always, and I would be like, this thing's going to kill you. And he would look at his wife and say, Dad's going to kill me too, what's your point? So I said, okay, good point. remember I used to give him my water bottles so I could dip. Because one thing I hate is to sit on somebody else's dip. And there he was, no matter what time, no matter what we were doing. Pigpen, the reason I'm giving that nickname. So you can imagine how dusty the desert gets. And we used to go on long days-long missions. And you sweat, and you get a chance to bathe. Just keep sweating, you keep getting dusty, you keep sweating, you keep getting dustier the next day. And I remember one day he hopped off the truck, and I looked at him, and he was so filthy dirty. And I was like, what's wrong with you, dude? And as he shook himself, I saw a fly just fly off of his vest, and I was like, dude. And the name came up, Pigpen. And he laughed about it. He would be like, well, I'm sorry, and say Minnie for little words to us. And it was amazing. Now that I think back at those stories, they mean a lot more now to me than they did when they first happened. So, moving forward to the day that he was killed. It was a very normal day to what we had gotten used to. It was a mission, supposed to be one of the easiest missions that we could get. And it turned out opportune. We had sustained casualties. We were down in Egypt, so we were considered combat ineffective. So we couldn't really go on patrols for the time. So they put us on escort duty. And the job was simple. All this ordnance, take it, load it on trucks, and escort it to a dinner pit. We went up our business that morning, as we always did. We loaded everything. We did our rosters, we did our comps, and we had to choose who's going to be on the back, who's going to go in the middle for gunning. And him and I talked about it, and we both loved to be up in the gun, and I ended up taking the gun. So I went in the back. He went in the front of the vehicle. And something that we joke about every single day. We always joke about what's the point of being early? The ID's not going anywhere. You'll be there when you get to it. And I know it sounds sick, but that's the kind of mentality you have to have when you serve in a place like that. So we were riding along and ID went off. And, we knew someone was hurt. I didn't know who. We were on the radio. We had a casualty. We need medics. A medic went up. They said, we need anybody with medical training. I happened to be a CLS, Combat Lifesaver Certified at the time. So I took my bag, hopped off my gun, and I ran as fast as I could. About 200-300 yards in the middle of the street, just going between trucks. And when I got there, I saw who it was. And what I saw was not a wounded soldier. What I saw was not a man who in any way felt sorry for himself. I saw a warrior. He was still holding on to his equipment. He was still talking. And he was just saying two things he kept saying. I'm sorry, guys. And I love you. By the time that we treated him, all we kept saying is, I'm sorry, guys, take cover. Not once did he talk about himself. Not once did he even ask about his wounds. Not once. All he said was, I love you guys. We kept treating him with everything that we could do given the circumstances. Helicopter came down. We loaded him. And the last thing I said to him was, hey man, I'll see you stateside. We'll go out for a beer. He said, you got it, man. He squared his thumb as best as he could. And they took off. We went back to do our damage recovery, and we got sent back to the base. And as soon as we got back to the base, they sent us to go to our headquarters. And when we got there, they told us the news. hard to take. It was hard in so many ways because one, you just saw him. Two, to see someone like him, to see one of the strongest members of our platoon go, makes you feel so vulnerable. Makes you feel that what's keeping the next one from being you. You realize nothing. You realize that all you can do is depend on your friends, your bad buddies, do the best that you can to survive every single day, and hope deep down in your soul that what you're doing is for a good cause. Because when I look at my rosters, I've lost 8 friends. Rob was my best of all of them. What I think about his 8 names, those 8 dates that I celebrate. And at the end of the day, like I said, I can't fathom, I can't thank you enough for what you have done, the sacrifice that you've made. One of the biggest lessons I took away from Lloyd's words is that if a man like that, if a man in that situation could be such a tough man, such a loving man, who am I to hate him? Who am I to say to anybody, hope to die, or want to be dead, or hate anyone? I have no place. I can't justify it. And I hope that I'm able to pass it on to my kids. And I hope that as a commander of a company, I was able to pass it on to my men. I'll talk to them one-on-one and explain to them many of my personal experiences. And I'm sharing that with you today. But know that I'm very grateful, and I'm sure that everyone that wears a uniform will forever be grateful to you. Hold your head up high and be proud. Because what you've done, no one can ever repay you back. And this country owes you. We owe you. And every day that I live, I try to be a better man, I try to be a better soldier. Because I know that's what Robbie would want me to do. If you saw me right now, you'd break him up, smack him, tell me to set it up and move on. Touching on another thing with the whole flag thing. There's one thing I know deep in my heart. There's one thing that this country does not lack, and that's patriotism. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a nation of warriors. This is a nation that will fight to its bitter end, no matter who the enemy is, even if it's internal. So have faith. I have faith. Until the day that I can no longer pull the trigger, guard this freedom that we are so blessed to have, as I'm sure many of my people will too. Now, to close up, I would like to please point out the father of the great man that I just talked about, Mr. Hoyt. Please come.
Thank you, Captain Montes, for being with us and just sharing a little glimpse into that relationship. Thank you. We are now going to take some time to honor Private First Class William A. Mastriani, U.S. Army, Korea. He is being honored by his niece, who is a reading consultant at the Eli Whitney School, Melanie Saxa. Please welcome her. First of all, my father, Robert Mastriani, William's brother, should be standing here right now honoring his brother. But he wanted me to make a couple of things clear. First of all, the name Mastriani was shortened to Mastroni. And second, it must be understood that he wouldn't have missed this moment if not for a very long planned bucket list trip to visit Normandy. It was September of 1950. The Disney Mastriani home normally reverberated with sounds of chatter, laughter, and fun. But September changed all of that. Still processing the loss of their father just a week prior from a long battle with ALS, they received a telegram from the War Department on September 16th. It read, "We regret to inform you that your son was killed in action in Korea. A devastatingly crushing blow that changed the family forever. The home that was filled with laughter was silenced by the tragic event that occurred thousands of miles away." No mother should have to endure such incomprehensible loss. Losing her husband and then her son within a week, a normally stoic woman who was the strength of the Mastroni family had succumbed to deep abiding grief. My father is still haunted by her anguished sobs from a primal place deep within. He recalls being surrounded with so much sadness, but being unsure as to how to grieve, thinking he should cry, but not shedding a tear. He was only 10 years old and too emotionally immature to comprehend. He's continued to feel that grief ever since. Billy was his brother. My father was 8 years old when he last saw him, looking so handsome in his army uniform. He was leaving to go overseas. When I asked Dad about his memories of his brother Billy, he described them as more snapshots. At that age, it was only a fleeting glimpse of his life. He hardly knew him. Aunt Lily recalled that he was mischievous, with a playful grin and always a twinkle in his eye. He was only 19 when he was killed by a mortar on some random hill south of Seoul, Korea. How many other 19-year-olds have died on foreign lands, on random hills and beaches, nondescript landscapes? What if Billy had lived like so many of his friends did? He would now be in his 80s. What would he have done with his life? How many people could he have helped? How many lives could he have touched? How many individuals might he have inspired? How many memories would he have been part of? He was denied the chance to be a husband, and a dad, an uncle, and eventually perhaps a grandfather. My father always found comfort in the fact that his mother chose to bury her son in Stratford St. Michael's Cemetery instead of in Arlington. It allows him that opportunity to visit and outwardly express his deepest regret. That is, that he never got to know his brother, he never got to witness that twinkle in his eye. Or if he had, my father possibly could have shed the tears that Billy so richly deserved. The poet Lawrence Binion wrote these poignant words: "They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn.
At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we remember them. Thank you to Michael Mastroni, my cousin, and our family. We will remember Billy, a soldier who died in the war. He was our uncle, and he died at an age when most kids are entering their first year of college. He was Uncle Billy, and he had a life, even if it was only 19 years. So what can we do? Really, only one thing. Never forget. Honor the memory. Live the true meaning of Memorial Day, a day to honor American soldiers who were killed in action, not just a holiday for picnics and parades. The poet Joyce Kilmer wrote, "Your souls shall be where the heroes are, and your memories shine like the morning star, a delicate cloud of bugle notes that softly say, farewell, farewell." Thank you, Michael Mastroni, for your dedication and unselfishness. Thank you for all of the time and effort you put into this noble cause. Thank you for helping us to remember Billy and all the other fallen heroes who have given so much for our country. And finally, after 65 years, we have given William a proper burial. God bless America, and God bless the veterans who served and died for our country. Thank you.
I'm Billy's sister, and I was only 7 years old, so I really didn't know him. So I thank Michael for this beautiful occasion. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Melanie, for those words. Now we are going to honor our last Fallen Heroes Specialist 4, Robert Tilquist, U.S. Army, Vietnam. And he is being honored by the Vice President of Sikorsky, United States Government Defense Systems and Services, Mr. David Zack.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here today, and it's my privilege to tell you about the oldest of the heroes we are here today to honor. However, old is not is a relative term. Robert Arnold Tilquist was just 23 years old when he gave his life, saving not only one, not two, but 3 soldiers that day in the Vietnam War. Bob was born on July 10, 1942 in Hartford, Connecticut. And it's an honor to have his sister Jean here today and her husband Bill. They've been married for 30 years. And I'll share a little bit more about what a remarkable lady Jean is a little later on. But Jean shared with me a lot of these stories, so hopefully I'll do justice and honor. Jean recalls her brother was a great kid, right? Played a lot of boyhood games, went to school, loved his family, and was intelligent and sensitive and had a great sense of humor. Right? You shared the story that he had a crooked smile, so you couldn't always tell whether he's serious or whether he's joking, but you always knew he was one step ahead. And you could be thankful that he was one step ahead, because danger always was lurking right around the corner. So Gene shared how he was a bit of a daredevil, right? But when he was in his younger ages, when he was 5 years old, he was hit by a bus. A few months later, he had a dog that bit him and tore his leg open. And a year after that, he was bobsledding and hit a tree and tore ligaments in both legs. And then in the middle school, he was jumping over a piano, and the piano fell on his leg and he broke one leg. And then his friends came to his rescue, pulled up the piano and dropped it on the other leg. So those are just a few near misses, but Bob took this all in stride as he moved with his parents to California and then back to Connecticut with the hopes of becoming an architect. In 1964, he was drafted into the Army. He told his neighbor, "I don't want to be a hero, I just want to come home." But to his sister Jean and Elaine, he confessed the stark reality that he probably will not be coming home. In 1965, Bob went to Fort Benning, Georgia. He went in for training as a combat medic. According to his platoon sergeant, Bob didn't care for inspections much. Right? For regular inspections, he showed up fully dressed, and for fully dressed inspections, sometimes he showed up in a uniform. So he quickly made his mark in the Army in the early stages. But inspections became much less important as he prepared for battle. And shortly after receiving his orders to go to Vietnam, Bob wrote a blank verse poem, which I want to share with you. And it reflects really the soul of a young soldier as he prepares to enter into battle. There it goes. Bang, your arm is blown off. Boom, John, you smashed before you. Hell, that's what it is. Death, it's not far away. Beautiful, that's what it was. Peace, will it ever be again? Crash, Sarge is dead. Roar, another bomb, another bite. Horror, it's all around. Rot, the smell of bodies and death. Flowers, what are they like? Scent, they don't perfume the air here. Home, is it really there? Folks, my mom would welcome you as a son. Damn, what's the sudden pain in the lake? Roar, the screams of bombs and men. When Specialist 4, Robert Topes, arrived in Vietnam, he seemed to have found his place. Right? He started to hit his stride. He attached to Company B, 2nd Battalion, 12th Cavalry, 1st Cavalry Division. Bob proved himself to be a skillful soldier, a loyal comrade, and an outstanding medic. He was known for keeping morale high, and during his time, he often watered down his letters back to his family, so they wouldn't share really wouldn't worry his family about what was really happening. He had a deep love for children, and during his spare time in Vietnam, he spent it at local orphanages, and even today there's a Vietnam baseball field that is named in his honor. On November 4th, 1965, Bob went to Company B on the front lines to search and destroy mission near Clay May. As the lead platoon hacked its way through the dense jungle, they suddenly became on a well-fortified Viet Cong position. A full-scale assault ensued, and a wounded American fell to the ground. Bob heard the cry for medic. He grabbed his medical equipment, raced into the attack, and administered first aid to Sergeant Charlie Cox. And he moved him to a shelter position 30 yards from the main line of fire. Immediately, he charged back through the intense hostile fire, fall to save and rescue Sergeant Norm High, again delivering first aid and bringing him to safety. Then he watched Sergeant William Williams collapse and critically become wounded. over the machine gun position. Exhausted, he stripped off his gear, shed some weight, grabbed his rifle, his first aid kit, and began crawling to the injured soldier. He was just finishing wrapping the soldier's head with a bandage, and enemy gunfire erupted once again. Another soldier was defending his position right in front of him. A bullet went through his legs and caught Bob and fatally wounded him. Even in death, he still came to the aid of his comrade as he positioned himself over Sergeant Williams to protect his body from further gunfire. The machine gun that took Bob's life also helped to locate the enemy's target and to stop the Viet Cong before they could kill more Americans in that confrontation. A few months later, the Army awarded Bob the Distinguished Service Cross, the nation's second highest decoration for heroism in combat. He was also awarded the Purple Heart, the Presidential Unit Emblem, the National Defense Service Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal with 2 campaign stars, Combat Medic Badge, Republic of Vietnam Campaign Ribbon, the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross with Palm Unit citations. In addition, the Vietnamese government awarded Bob the Military Merit Medal for courage, goodwill, cooperation, and sacrifice. Bob was finally buried back in Connecticut, and it was decades later before his family learned the story and details of his ultimate sacrifice. 2 days before Bob was killed, he reached out to a favorite high school teacher in a moving letter. It would be the last words that he wrote. And so I'd like to share you a direct excerpt from that letter. The fear of dying is a great burden to a young man who has not fully tasted all that life has to offer. Why should I give up the luxurious life I knew in the States to come over here and fight for something I didn't really care about? After only a few weeks, these and many other questions were answered for Bob. He goes on and says, when you see children 6 or 7 years old with one or more of their limbs amputated, orphanages that are overcrowded with young boys and girls who were forced to watch the massacre of their parents, or the fertile fields that would grow almost any crop, ravaged and destroyed, just to deprive the people of sustenance. When you see this and much more, things can make even the strongest man cry out in anger at the outrage of it all. And then you understand the reason for being here. Quote, I came here afraid for my life. Now I would gladly lay down my life for these people. Those are Bob's words, and that is exactly what a American hero, Robert Tilquist, did. I recently had the honor of meeting Bob's sister. We brought her up to the Sikorsky aircraft facility. We showed her how the Black Hawk aircraft were fabricated in the Medevac aircraft that you see out there. I'm very glad that you were able to do that. They were able to come and share your experiences with our workforce. I'm glad that you're here today. You're here with Bill and members of your family in the celebration of Bob's heroism and the heroism of all of our fallen heroes that are honored today. Despite her brother's predictions, Jean had always thought he would come home. Up until the night they received a telegram that was delivered by a taxi that began with the words that no parent wants to hear. We regret to inform you. Bob had died in a battle that lasted 45 minutes, and Jean has spent the last 50 years keeping his memory alive. As she told me when we talked last week, Bob was a great person. He went where he had to go. When the time came, he did what he had to do. He did it well, and he did it with honor. When she got her first computer in 1998, she began searching for soldiers who had known Bob. She very quickly connected with his commanding officer, who said to her, I thought about him every day. When the full measure was called upon, he gave his life to save 3 people. I get choked up when I think about it. I witnessed some pretty heroic stuff, but not anything like that, he goes on and says. So, a little bit more about Jean and how what an incredible lady she was, like her brother. Jean also spearheaded the creation of the Connecticut Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Coventry. So, church, yes. Everybody can check that out. And you can read about that on cddm.org, where there's a picture of Bob that features his story as well as acknowledges the 612 Connecticut heroes who lost their lives in Vietnam. She also was instrumental in getting this bound here. I brought a copy of it. She brought a copy of it today for myself, and I do plan to read it. It's of the bios of the 612 soldiers, sailors, aviators, and Marines from Connecticut who lost their lives in Vietnam. She also collected from his battalion about 6,000 email compositions as they were written, and had those bound as well. So if anybody's interested in reading through those, she gave me a copy as well today. So thanks to Gene's inspiration and dedication, Bob's service and selfless sacrifice will resonate for generations of Americans, and most deeply in the lives of the families who he saved. In 2002, the family of the late Norman Tye of Williamsburg, Kentucky, the second soldier Bob saved, posted a brief but heartfelt note on the Vietnam Memorial Wall in D.C. It reads, "Thank you to Robert A. Tilquist for saving our dad, for saving us, by giving us a future together." So with that, I'd like to ask Gene and Bill and the family to come and join us in front of the stage.
I'd like to thank everyone for honoring my brother today. I try to keep his memory alive, and this was a great opportunity for me and for everyone. I want to thank all of our veterans, our Vietnam veterans. I want to welcome them home, thank them for their service, and God bless America. Thank you.
And thank you so much, David, for being here with us today and for sharing those words. Now we have a special presentation. I'd like to invite attorney Rebecca Sprano to the stage. She is the head of Home Run for Heroes at Sikorsky Aircraft, and they host an annual event that raises money for veterans organizations, and Connecticut Fallen Heroes is so thankful and so blessed to be a recipient of some of those funds that are raised. So Rebecca?
Good afternoon. I am Rebecca Sprano. For the past 7 years, Sikorsky Aircraft, the Teamsters 1150 local union, local organizations, and Sikorsky employees have sponsored an event that honors and benefits local veterans. Connecticut Fallen Heroes has been one of those beneficiaries of our event for several years. On behalf of the entire Home Run for Heroes committee, and all of the volunteers and our sponsors, we would like to present the Connecticut Fallen Heroes with a check in the amount of $17,064. God bless our veterans, those that are currently serving, and may God bless the United States of America.
Rebecca, thank you so much for all of your efforts. Those funds will certainly help us to continue our mission, so it is so much appreciated by everyone in this room. Okay. We are going to take a moment to personally remember all of the fallen heroes that we have honored since 2005. I would like to welcome my special helpers, Liam and Emmett. Don't run, you can just walk. They can be nervous. To come up to the front of the stage. I'm just going to conference with us for 1 second. They didn't even need a conference, they're totally ready. Again, these are all of the fallen heroes that we have personally remembered since 2005. I think it's really important that we take a moment to honor every single name on this unfortunately growing list. Private Cheyenne M. Seymour, United States Army, Trumbull, Connecticut. Senior Airman Guillermo Nazario, United States Air Force, Bridgeport, Connecticut. If I may just interrupt for one moment, if any of our Gold Star families are here, we do have a small gift for you, so if you would like to come up, either during the reading of the names or after, we'd be happy to give that to you. Corporal Jordan C. Pearson, United States Marine Corps, Milford, Connecticut. Private First Class Nicholas A. Medeiros, United States Army, Wilton, Connecticut. Lance Corporal Philip A. Johnson, United States Marine Corps, Enfield, Connecticut. Private First Class Stephen K. Richardson, United States Army, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Petty Officer Third Class Nathan B. Bruckenthal, United States Coast Guard, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Specialist Tiana S. Avery Felder, United States Army, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Captain Jason R. Hamill, United States Army, Salem, Connecticut. Lance Corporal Lawrence R. Philippon, United States Marine Corps, West Hartford, Connecticut. Specialist Wilfredo Perez Jr., United States Army, Norwalk, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Martin F. Troy, United States Army Air Force, Norwalk, Connecticut. Corporal Stephen R. Bixler, United States Marine Corps, Suffield, Connecticut. First Lieutenant Thomas J. Brown, United States Army, Shelton, Connecticut. Sergeant David J. Couillard, United States Marine Corps, Glastonbury, Connecticut. Corporal Kevin Jack Dempsey, United States Marine Corps, Monroe, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Richard Rick Eaton, Jr., United States Army, Guilford, Connecticut. Captain Captain Brian S. Latendre, United States Marine Corps, New Britain, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Joseph Fanoff II, United States Army, Eastford, Connecticut. Sergeant Felix M. Del Greco, United States Army, Simsbury, Connecticut. Chief Warrant Officer William I. Brennan, United States Army, Woodbury, Connecticut. Operations Specialist Seaman Tyler J. Conley, United States Navy, Glastonbury, Connecticut. Sergeant Benjamin L. Gilman, United States Army, Meriden, Connecticut. Warrant Officer Michael A. Kite, United States Army, Waterbury, Connecticut. Chief Petty Officer Jason D. Lewis, United States Army, Brookfield, Connecticut. Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy, U.S. Navy, Patchogue, New York. Corporal On, United States Marine Corps, Waterford, Connecticut. Chief Warrant Officer Richard Lee, United States Army, Wallingford, Connecticut. Sergeant Ronald Howard, United States Army, Bethany, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Ronald W. Cardona, United States Army, Gardner, Massachusetts. Private First Class Kyle J. Kotu, United States Marine Corps, Providence, Rhode Island. Specialist Andre Craig Jr., United States Army, New Haven, Connecticut. Private First Class Anthony D'Agostino, United States Army, Waterbury, Connecticut. Private First Class Melissa J. Hobart, United States Army, East Haven, Connecticut. Sergeant Stephen J. DeLuzio, United States Army, Glastonbury, Connecticut. Specialist David R. Fahey, Jr., United States Army, Norwalk, Connecticut. Sergeant First Class Daehan Park, United States Army, Watertown, Connecticut. Sergeant Robert Elia, U.S. Army, Shelton, Connecticut. Private First Class Deborah P. Newman, U.S. Army, Watertown, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Vincent M. Stabile, United States Army, Bronx, New York. Specialist Operations Craft Brian Bill, United States Navy, Stamford, Connecticut. Private First Class Eric D. Supreme, United States Army, Woodbridge, Connecticut. Staff Sergeant Edwin Rivera, United States Army, Waterford, Connecticut. Sergeant Robert Leska, United States Army, Trumbull, Connecticut. Sergeant Joseph Nolan, United States Army, Waterbury, Connecticut. Private First Class Thomas E. Donovan, United States Army, Norwich, Connecticut. Lance Corporal Tyler O. Griffin, United States Marine Corps, Voluntown, Connecticut. Lieutenant Junior Guard Michael DiBartolomeo, United States Navy, Stamford, Connecticut. Corporal Jacob Latour, United United States Marine Corps, Waterbury, Connecticut. Corporal Frank G. Navarro, United States Army, West Haven, Connecticut. Captain Andrew Pedersen, Keel, United States Army, Madison, Connecticut. Specialist 4, Philip E. Romanski, United States Army, Highland Falls, New York. Navy diver Robert D. Stetham, I know I said that wrong, I apologize. Stetham, United States Air Force, Ozone Park, Queens, New York. Lieutenant Colonel Robert E. Stores, United States Air Force, Ozone Park, Queens, New York. Lance Corporal Lester R. Atherton, United States Marine Corps, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Private First Class Lenwood T. Harrell, United States Army, Waterbury, Connecticut. Specialist Robert W. Hoyt, United States Army, Ashford, Connecticut. Private First Class William A. Mastriani, United States Army, Stratford, Connecticut. Specialist 4, Robert Tilquist, United States Army, New Haven, Connecticut. Thank you so much, Leanne and Nick. We appreciate your help. And now I would like to call back to the stage Sergeant Siva for a closing benediction.
The stories that you've heard here today are very heart-touching to me. I've been in the war zones with your loved ones spent many years over there, 5.5 years overseas. Yet our unit was the only unit during that time frame that didn't lose a single person. So my heart goes out to your families. I do thank everyone for being here today. It hurts my heart to know that your heart hurts too. Let us pray. Well, God, we thank you for allowing us another day to honor the heroes that have gone to be with you. May their sacrifices never be forgotten in this generation or the generation that follows. May you grant us the healing of our broken hearts as we remember our loved ones who are the very hero of our hearts. Allow us now, O God, to focus on the future and never forget the past. Please be with all who came to pay their honor and respect to the heroes that have left an indelible legacy upon our hearts and minds. Peace be upon all who are here today, and may we all be a beacon of light in the memory of our fallen heroes. Amen. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Now to retire the colors, the 102nd Connecticut National Color Guard.
Forward. Detail. Up. Right. Hey. Order, off. Port off. Leo, hurt. Forward, hop.
Thank you. You can be seated. That really concludes our ceremony of remembrance today. I would like to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart and from all of the Connecticut Fallen Heroes volunteers' hearts for being here with us today. I know Tom alluded to this a little bit earlier, and as you know, this event is free of charge, and we'd like to keep it that way. We can only do what we do to honor and support and remember with the help of generous donations. So if you feel so inclined, and if any of this has pulled at your heartstrings a little bit, maybe open up your hearts and your purse strings and donate to us so we can continue to honor and never forget. If I can ask you to please now join me on the balcony for a very beautiful symbolic presentation of the releasing of the doves, and that will be our final conclusion to our ceremony. Thank you so much again for being with us. Please drive safely and always remember,